The reason relationships don't work is because we are aligning to the wrong self. We are aligned to the false self. That's why relationships become so challenging for us to really succeed in this very crucial area. My name is Jeff Israel Nthiwa, and welcome to Breakthrough with Jeff. This is the place where we live life with zero limits. And today's conversation is on a very crucial topic, the idea of aligning your life with true, authentic self. True self and false self are two different things, and it's a force that will color the rest of your life. It will color your relationships. It will color how you do your job, your performance. It will color your mindset. It will affect everything about you. Unknowingly or knowingly, it will impact everything. You are the product of the self that you've given permission to lead your life. And so to be just go right into it, I just want to nail it on the head. The distinction is, which path are you living your life? Is it the true self or is it the false self? Now, majority of the human population and really humanity in general, we are conditioned to lean towards the false self. The false self is the self that is driven by fear. It is the self that is opposed to the purposes and destiny of God. It is the self that is driven by worry, overcaution, perfectionism, pleasing, people pleasing, and inauthenticity, masking, and also getting to a place of always anxious, anxiety. All that is a sign you are driven by the false self, and there's no way you can build a lasting relationship, one that will be a blessing to anyone, when you're driven by the false self. The false self is egoistic. The false self is all about self. The foundation of the false self, it's self. It's all about self. The unholy trinity, me, I, and mine. Okay, so it's all about you. It's all about your ego. It's all about your needs. It's all about what you want. It's all about, and some of us leave our relationships on this level for a long time. If things are not working and you've tried everything and you've tried to reason with your mind and see why things are not working, I want you to investigate who you're being. Who you are being. And it's about the beingness more than the doingness. It's not about what you do. It's the place from which you do it. Who are you being? Who are you becoming? Okay, so the false self, like we said, is driven by the ego. The foundation is self, is all about you. And this is the ultimate resistance to God. Because then it's your kingdom, it's your rulership, it's your leadership, it's you doing your own thing. And Nebuchadnezzar, let me tell you, very soon you will realize without God, you can do nothing. And the kingdom will come to an end very soon. Very soon. You'll be, the false self has no lasting legacy. You don't go so far. You might shine for a reason, and God is giving you the grace period for you to draw closer to Him. Now, the opposite of the false self is the true self, and the true self is the one that is driven. The foundation is God. The foundation is God. The foundation of everything is God. You eat, sleep, and digest God. Whether you eat, you sleep, whether in relationship, whether in work, in God. The foundation of true self is God. And the desire of God throughout the Bible has always been to restore man to his true self, which is the likeness and the image of God. Now, once you become your true self, the shackles are shattered, the chains are broken, God, you can access the kingdom blessing that are assigned to your true self. Maybe that blessing, maybe that breakthrough you're looking for already exists, but you are not aligned with your true self, so it cannot locate you. Hello? It cannot locate you. Who are you? Kingdom doesn't locate you. The signal is not reaching because you are tuned to the false self. And it's easy to know whether you are tuned to the false self. Get into a relationship. Relationship reveal our false self. Marriage reveals our false self. When you're dating, there's a mask. You're masking your true self, the true identity. And you're living a false self until when the rubber meets the road. Challenges and pain and suffering has the capacity to reveal truly who you are. And whether at the inner core, you are living, you've made a commitment and agreement with our false self, or you made a commitment and agreement with the true self. The true self is humble. The true self knows that foundation is God. The true self knows that all things work together for me, for those that love God. The true self knows God is in control. The true self knows it is one with God. There's no separation between the true self and God. It is hidden in God. The true self is one with God. And the true self, the security of the true self is in God. The Lord becomes your strength and your salvation. You begin to build on God. Whether you are a man or a woman, when you build on your true self, the relationships begin to transform. If you're going to shake the foundations that have established your self-identity, your current self-identity, you really must deal with the self-concept. You must investigate and get coaching on who am I really, truly. And sometimes you can't look at yourself in the picture when you're the one looking into the picture. You're looking at yourself. You may not see. But sometimes you need the guidance of an expert coach, a kingdom coach. One can see through the scales of your traditions and all the layers and layers of pain to the truth of who you are. You are made for more. You are made for more. There is destiny inside of you. Please don't let the small stories of where you've been, your pain and all that dictate who you are. You are created in the image and likeness of God. No one can stop you unless you decide to be stopped. No one. And when we adopt, accept, and practice and condition our mind to the true self, now we begin to live. We begin to enjoy, because your true self was created to enjoy this life, not to endure, but to enjoy this life. The true self was created to conquer. You are created, you are anointed to conquer. The true self is created to create miracles, to see the wonders of the kingdom, to see the wonders of God. The true self is created to see. Blessed. What does the Bible say? Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are, they'll be called the children of God. This one I'm looking for. It's not coming. It will come. So God is calling us to a different path. If you've lived that path of uncertainty, you've lived that path of pleasing. And some of us, we have been conditioned by our parents to please. God is calling you to a true path that is authentic, that has authenticity in it, that you can become who you were created to be, that you can deal with your fears once and for all. One way of killing your fears, your worries and anxieties and uncertainties is to take the path of your true self. Is to surrender to God. It is to surrender, because you're not just saying, oh, yeah, here I am. And sometimes here I am does not mean surrender. Some of us have been given the kingdom lift, but we still have our basket full of drama of our heads. And we are there. Or giving me a lift in the kingdom, but we are still burdened. We don't want to put our baggages and the burdens down. The call to true self is a call to really look inside authentically and know that God can heal you, can heal your past, can cleanse you, can purify you, can present you holy and acceptable before God. There's no story that cannot change as long as we are willing to walk the path of the true self. In my earlier video, I talked about, let me switch off this fan, it's bringing so much, blowing so much air on me. So we talked about the helmet of salvation. We talked about, the breastplate of righteousness, the helmet of salvation, all this, the belt of truth, like you can stand on your truth. True self is about standing fearlessly on the truth. And so in the process of growing up, some of us have been conditioned to be pleasers. We've been conditioned to be people that fit into the status quo. We've been conditioned to just fit in, but God is calling you to your true, authentic self. There's no joy and fulfillment outside the true, authentic self. And when it comes to a man, if you're becoming a man of God and you want to please God, you want to walk the path of victory for the kingdom purposes, you got to deal with your false self. Because the world has, for generations told us what a man should be like. And you walk that path is the path of false self. It's so far from humility and trusting in God and depending on God and waiting on God and hoping in God and dedicating yourself, your future, your destiny to God. Is all about trying. And most of the time, men are not seen as men enough as long as they try, as long as they bring something. Sometimes men are loved for what they bring on the table. And that's a false idea of what a man should be. And as a man, you got to claim your healing by seeing yourself as the man that God created you to be, your true self, the image that God has created for you, and build your foundation on God, not on performance. Because then every man is trying to perform so that they can be accepted in the identity of a man. And now people can say, oh, you are a man. Because now you can provide. And the man that cannot provide is not seen as a man. I'm sure you, because of your conditioning, you feel there's some truth there. It's called conditioning of your mind. Conditioned response mechanism, the way you are conditioned to respond by society. A true man is the one who lays the foundation of God. Hashtag God on the comment section. A true man is the one that lays the foundation of God for his generation. A true man is the one who refuses to be boxed in an empty shell and lays the foundation of God. A true man is the one that refuses to be defined by limitations of society, of his generation, and lays the foundation of God. A true man is the one who refuses to bow down to the self-identity of being defined by his income. And even though you have a good income right now, tomorrow you might not. So don't allow yourself to be defined by your income. You need to find your true self. You need to redefine yourself, reshape your destiny. And by so doing, you're reshaping the destiny of our sons. And the same thing for a true woman. A true woman is the one that lays the foundation of God. Is the one that puts her trust in God. Is the one that engrafts herself and her children and her legacy and the fruit of her womb to the true and living God. Not in our self-ego. Now we have women raising up and thinking, oh, now we can fight men and we can oppose men and we can sit at the same level. You're wasting your time. And women have lost their identity as feminine woman that brings the humility and softness and the presence of God through our humble heart. And our women wants to be masculine because this is a highly depressed generation. And remember, when women are depressed, they become like men. When a woman is depressed, just becomes a tiger. And she wants to fight. She loses her entire identity. That's how she's fighting. It feels is a fight or flight response. And the opposite is true when a man is depressed and stressed. The man becomes feminine and coils his tail between his legs and just wants to hide in alcohol, in other women, in other things, in hanging out with losers, and in like being voiceless. It's like your voice has been choked. Like, oh yeah, I have an idea. It's a whisper. We need to hear the roar of a man, not the whispers of a weakling. God did not create you to be a weakling. I want to be on record as one of the men in my generation that build on God. I want to be on record as one of the men that refuse to be bowed by societal expectations and standards. This world is wrong, man. I know it's a majority, but someone told me a very important lesson. When you go to a market, find out what the majority are doing, do the opposite. When you go to a market, discover what is everyone doing, just do the opposite. 90%, you probably will be right. So it's not about the majority. We need to reestablish and go back to the foundations and really get back the man, the woman to his true nature and to her true nature. And for the woman to accept herself as a feminine creation of God, and for a man to accept himself as a masculine and stop hiding Let me give you another metaphor. When men are depressed and down, especially financially, they become tortoise. It's a metaphor. They become like a tortoise. They hide their head inside the shell and they harden their shell. No one can reach them. And that's why now we have a generation where no one is reaching men. You just have people who are just, looking for money, ideally, just social activists, but not real transformers of men. Because men have so hardened themselves, their shell, return the head inside and harden their shell. No one can reach them. Even a young boy as young as 12 years, they are becoming hard to reach. That's why a class like Destiny Life Coaching, a class of 20 students, you find 15 are women. And men are hardening themselves. May the Lord, we need to pray especially for the man. And if you are a man, pray for yourself. Pray for yourself. Because this is not helping you, it's not helping your legacy. If you're a man between 35 and 45, pray for yourself. And all you know is your job. There's no lasting legacy you're making. And you're taking your job as a way to hide and camouflage and hide from the pursuit of your true self. It's actually a distraction. Get out of that place and find yourself. Run for your life. Run for your life, man. Go find yourself. That will be the biggest investment of your life. You're just hiding there with those big names, the CEO, the world, the catalyst. Really, you know your true story. The mask will not be for long. And it's the same thing for the woman. The women, become so masculine. It's about, oh, I can do it on my own. I can defend, which is good. And we've empowered the girl child. But I can tell you this, watch out. That in fighting, you become so masculine. And then you go on the path of false self. If you're going to the path of trusting God and you're saying, with God, I can do it. I can raise these kids. With God's help, I can do it. God will bless my job. But then we have a generation of women that are just, it's about me. And then it's about me. You see what I'm going to do. And that desperation inside, you can see she is broken. She is hurting, but she doesn't want to acknowledge because she has picked the wrong size of a mask, the masculine mask. I don't know if you're understanding me. I don't know if you're feeling me. I don't know if you are together. But I tell you this, no matter what you face in this life, anything that happens to you is to take you on the path of the true self. And God's desire and mission is to restore you to your true self. It's not to restore you to your ego. Oh, now I can do it. Yeah, I'm the rich one here. I'm the rich one here. I'm the one who can do it. I'm the one. It's okay. If a relationship ends, let it end. But put your trust in God. Don't put your trust in yourself. Or put your trust in a man. That comes to an end. And so the idea of this discussion today for all of us, men, women, male, female, young, old, the biggest coaching question today, which path are you on? The true self or the false self? My mission is to guide people to their true self. My God-given mission is to guide people to their true self. And I'm going to leave a link below for you. If you're interested in this conversation, it will be a very easy, friendly conversation where using coaching, strategic kingdom coaching tools, we can expose the false self, because sometimes you cannot see your life wearing the same glasses that created the current one. You cannot see your true self. And so I'll give you 45 minutes consultation session where we can reveal what your true self is, and perhaps give you a proposal of a journey you can walk. 1, 2, 3 steps you can take for you to get to that place of true certainty of who you are created to be. Please don't throw another year in pursuit of things, in pursuit of a shine that does not reflect your true self. Because it doesn't matter how much you oil your false self. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much. My dad told me, if when you are passionate, but you're a fool, you're just a passionate fool. So the passion doesn't really make you wise, no matter how passionate you are. And so that this foundational change of identity, who am I becoming? It's an honest question. It is a question that requires authenticity and fearless investigation and assessment of the person we are becoming from this moment on going forward. God bless you, and see you here again at Breakthrough with Jeff, where we live life with zero limits.